Thoughts on Miami's recruiting momentum? Yeah, it's momentum. But Zane, it would be irresponsible of me to start the story on December 15th. Why start the story present day when I can start the story on, let's say, Sunday, March 27th? Yeah, I got good news and bad news for you. The good news is I don't really hold grudges. The bad news is producer Jesse does. And so producer Jesse took it upon himself to prepare a helpful soundbite from our show on March 27th. And I made a statement on that show, and it was, at the time, thought to be very controversial. And some of you, I don't want to name names, that's not what we're here to do, but some of you even took to dragging me pretty thoroughly, torching me pretty thoroughly in the comments and on Twitter. And I am nothing if not responsible, so I had to keep the receipts. Roll it, Colin. Let's define where the bar has been set. I've set it really high. I won't back away from that. I've set the bar for Miami's first full recruiting cycle under Mario Cristobal really high. And the first full cycle, meaning this one that we're in right now. They still managed to sign the best major class in the state of Florida this past cycle, and they were on campus like 10 minutes. So they ended up doing that. I think they were 15th, somewhere in the mid-teens. Now what are they going to do with their first full cycle? My expectation is they will flirt with a top 5 class every cycle, and that's including this one. Breaking news, Miami has the number 3 class in the country. How did that happen? Well, here's what happened. Mario Cristobal is a psychopathic recruiter. He has no bowl game to prepare for him. He's got full NIL alignment, and the only thing he has to do down there is recruit. I went to South Florida last week. It was 83 degrees. I came back with a mild sunburn. The rest of the country is miserable. Do you know how relatively easy it is for a guy who loves it anyway to recruit this time of year when he doesn't have a bowl game to prepare for and he's got playing time out the wazoo to offer? So I thought that was common sense. It apparently wasn't. And a lot of people said, Miami's time for recruiting in the top 5 is long since passed. No way, it hasn't. Are you crazy? You're giving kids in South Florida the chance to stay home. So anyway, here's what happened today. They landed their second 5-star offensive tackle of the cycle in Samson Okunlola. And the guy had a stack of pancakes on the table and devoured them as he committed, which I don't even have a problem with. I think it's probably the most first-class way you can commit to a program, or for that matter, anything worthwhile in life. Commit and then eat pancakes. Like, how simple is it? I have zero questions about his character just because he did that. So they've got him. They've got some really good tackles now. So they've got a couple of 5-star offensive tackles. They got a couple of top 100 defensive linemen. They're still in it for some more kids. The class is currently ranked number 3, and it has been fun to watch, but it's been polarizing to watch. So, what do you think about Miami recruiting now? I didn't ask whether you like them. Actually, why not? Do you like Miami recruiting? And then I hear collectively about 90% of the country yell, no. And then I hear about 10% from South Florida yell out even louder, we don't care. And that both of those things are true. So here's what's happening right now. There is no more polarizing recruiting brand in college football currently than the Miami Hurricanes. They don't care. They shouldn't care. Because the way they're going about things is totally allowed. And so if you've got a problem with it, your problem may very well be with your own program more so than theirs. Or maybe you're a little upset about the current structure and landscape of the sport. Whatever the case is, what I'm just here to suggest to you is you're not seeing them do anything you wouldn't also do if you were in charge at Miami. You're just not. And if you're not a Canes fan, you probably hate them. There is no in between. And so that's where the emotion is right now. I don't fit into either camp. I just sit here at this desk and I look across the landscape and I try and find out who's about to pop. It's been pretty obvious since the day they hired Cristobal, the program's going to pop. But it's not obvious to everyone. And especially it was not obvious during this season. Remember 5 and 7? It just happened. Remember Middle Tennessee State? Remember them struggling to score? Colin, do we have their schedule? We may not have prepared that. Miami had a horrendous season this year. And to his credit now, Mario Cristobal didn't really hide from it. In fact, he did some local media down there. We played one of the clips from one of the radio hits he did where he just flat out said, no, it's not easy right now at all. It's not fun. We're going to fix it. There's not a doubt in my mind we're going to fix it. I don't have a doubt in my mind he's going to fix it. I'm pretty surprised at how thoroughly some people have underestimated what can be done today in college football by a program as desperate as Miami. This doesn't even have to take a long time. And they get to recruit this way. They get to leverage the portal however hard they want to leverage it. I had people telling me weeks ago, not years ago, weeks ago, this program's dead on arrival. You can't be this bad and rescue it. Remember that refrain, that talking point from this year? There's no excuse for them to be this bad. Well, I participated in that. There was no excuse for them to be that bad. But see, here's what I was able to do. I was able to kind of crack the fortune cookie. I was able to disconnect what's happening right now and what will happen there 2 years from now, because I think they'll be totally different products. I don't think there is a thing about them struggling mightily at home against inferior teams this year that I'll even remember 2 years from now. Well, I'll remember it, but I certainly won't be referencing it. It's not even going to be the same team, not even remotely the same team. You're currently seeing that team put together right now, and they're going to be good, guys. They're going to be really good. You can still have doubts if you want to about how they'll handle themselves in the heat of battle, in close games on Saturdays in the fall. I get all that. I get where it comes from. I'm not even here to litigate that tonight. What I am here to do is remind you, first off, we were right. Got to say it. We were right. We will continue to be right. They're not slowing down. They're going to recruit like this. That's just going to happen. They are going to attract talent. I'm told every day, it's a talent acquisition business. Well, they're in the business of acquiring talent right now, and they're doing it at an extremely high level. That won't stop, and they're going to be a winning program down the road. Don't know if it's 1 mile or 10 miles, but they're going to be a winning program. So the question was, what do I think about the momentum? That's what I think about the momentum. It's going exactly as I thought it would go. I didn't know they'd be that bad on the field this year, but I can promise you, I didn't think those results were, maybe that's it, Jesse. Jesse and I were talking about this earlier today, about how people were so convinced recruiting was just going to tank because the season tanked. That's where the disconnect was. This is the danger of doing a live show, because you just get new ideas live and it sounds messy. I want to know if this is true. Did some of you think that Miami's season was so bad recruits would be turned off? Did you think that? That's probably where a lot of the surprise right now comes from, because that was never going to happen. They could have lost 2 more games than they did. The kids they're getting now looked at this season and just laughed at it like you and I did. The difference is they said, it ain't going to happen when I'm there. I'll be the reason this never happens again. And frankly, guys, when you've got Mario Cristobal recruiting, that's not even a hard message to sell. That's why they've been so confident. When you've listened to him talk down there, he never had an ounce of concern about what was going to happen in recruiting. In fact, he knew the poor results on the field were probably, if anything, going to be ammunition for them in recruiting, which it has been. So I'm impressed by it. I'm not surprised by it. This is the way it was always going to happen. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Make sure you like the video and please subscribe to the channel. Not just for me. That's how we keep this entire thing free.